Good afternoon and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is John. I'm Orphan Car Garage. I'm located in the state of Massachusetts in the town of Abington, which is about 30 minutes south of Boston. It's a beautiful, warm, sunny day here in Abington and a perfect day to profile you this beautiful big red convertible. The pollen is flying at its highest peak right now, so I'm going to try to get this video done before this red car turns yellow thanks to the pollen. The car here in front of us is a Chrysler 300 from the year 1966. The 300 nameplate stuck around with Chrysler off and on for several years, starting in 1955 with the letter series cars, just ending production of its final generation 300 earlier this year. The early 300s were known for their high horsepower and amenities, sort of a personal sports car. Well, personal sporty luxury car, and most of those early 300 letter cars were equipped with large Hemi engines. In 1962 you could get a lesser 300. It was not a letter car and that 300 was available through 1971, I believe, and the car here in front of us is one of those. This is a Chrysler 300. It's not a letter series 300. However, it does have a big engine, and we'll get to that in a moment. This particular car is in beautiful condition. It's a very high quality driver. It was restored by its long-term owner in the 1980s. And this car, when it was found by him, was originally painted a very pale yellow. I believe they called it French ivory or something. A color that really doesn't do this car justice. So the gentleman decided to paint it red. It's a Chrysler red from the early 1980s. Some of you may remember the Dodge Murata. This is a color that he chose from a Dodge Murata. And I believe Chrysler called the color Baron Red, but it suits this car nicely. Very little indication that this car was ever an ivory color. There's some indication of that under the hood, and I'll show you that when we get there. During its restoration, some body work was performed, but not a whole lot. The car was generally very solid. Went around it with a magnet. Excuse me. And the only places we could find issues with the magnet sticking were right here on the quarter panel below this molding, after the door, and also, of course, in the back, under that molding on the quarter panel. So obviously there was some body filler there, but it's held up very well. There's a little crack here in it. You can see that that's body filler, but overall, for a 45-year-old restoration, it's held up beautifully. The paint is still a very high quality. Very, very nice. Very little to complain about with the paint. When it was done right. All the trim was replaced. All the pitted trim was replaced on this car during its restoration with nice replacements that the gentleman sourced out of, excuse me, the gentleman sourced out of Nevada. Each door handle, excuse me, still has some pitting. I'm assuming those are original to the car and were not replaced during the restoration. So as you can see, it's a very presentable driver quality car. It's not going to win any blue ribbons at the Newport Concourse, but that's generally what we sell here at Orphan Car Garage anyway. Cars you can enjoy and be proud of, and it won't break the bank. That very cool hood ornament that says 300. Nice presentable chrome, grille, bezels. That predominant Chrysler nameplate, so everybody knows what you're driving. Details on these cars were great. Look at the ribbing in that pointed grille. Just so cool. The interior of the car appears to be original pattern, but he tells me that it was redone. But when they did it right. That's the original style. So the seats of this car were redone also in the 1980s, restuffed and recovered, but very high quality job. Like I said, very original. That's how that was done originally. So whoever replicated that did a beautiful job. Nice door panels, the 300 emblem there on both sides. Those are, presumably, are very original door panels. A remote control outside mirror that works, and of course a crank here for the vent window, which also works. Very cool. I love vent windows, especially ones that crank open. And manual crank windows. which I love in old cars because power windows in antique cars can be a real pain in the neck. I'm going to get in the car and show you some of the features inside. Very, very presentable, just as the outside of the car. A nice black carpet, nice dash with no cracks. I love this rounded gauge package. That's sort of a hint to the past that the 300 letter series cars from the 50s had a even more pronounced rounded gauge cluster with a big glass globe in front of it. Very cool. So this kind of harkens back to that. The late 50s, mid-late 50s 300 cars. And you can see the car is equipped with factory air conditioning. Everybody loves that now in their old car. Everybody wants air conditioning. So this car has it. It's equipped from the factory with air. It's all hooked up under the hood. Everything is there, but it doesn't currently work. So we're not going to get into why that doesn't work. We're not going to diagnose it. If the next owner would like to have that repaired, I'm sure it can be done. It's all there and present and accounted for. It just doesn't blow cold air. A later but tasteful AM/FM stereo that works, and a clock that obviously doesn't work. All the gauges work, lights, wipers. Car will have no problem passing a state inspection. We'll start it up for you while we're here. And I'll tell you what's under the hood. Odometer on this car is 34,317, but of course we're going to assume that that's rolled over. The car has 134,000 miles on it. That radio. Nice, works nicely. Another thing I want to show you is this armrest. Kind of gives the car a bucket seat look, but when you fold it up, another person can sit there. So you and 5 of your friends can sit comfortably in this big convertible. Convertible top switch has a beautiful white convertible top. It's a power top and it works fine. There's pictures of that on my website, orphancargarage.com. I'm going to try to open the hood here for you. These can be a little tricky, so bear with me. I think there's another one under here. Yep, there we go. Voila. Here's the original color. So when you bought a 300 in 1966, you had two engine choices. You could get the base 383 V8, or you could get the optional 440 big block cubic inch engine, and that's what this car is equipped with. This has the optional 440. There's that AC compressor. Nice running car, no leaks. Torque flight, automatic transmission, shifts beautifully. As you can see, the engine bay is not completely detailed. It could be, but this is just a really high quality driver. That 440 engine purrs. About 350 horsepower in those engines, I believe. That is not the original engine from the car. That is a 440 out of a mid-60s Imperial that was rebuilt and installed in this car in the 1980s. So it's a rebuilt 440. Dual exhaust. All 300s came with dual exhaust. No smoke. No strange noises. Excuse me. We do not have a boot for the convertible top. That appears to be missing. But I imagine those are available through online distributors. And look at that. A lighter for the rear seat passengers. This is crazy. Everybody got a lighter and an ashtray. A really nice interior with that speaker in the middle. Again with the 300 emblem. These are really neat cars. The designer of this car for Chrysler was Elwood Engel. No more was Virgil Exner designing the Chrysler products after 1964. And you can see Elwood used the slab-sided style. Not as outrageous as the earlier cars, but Americans' tastes were changing then as well. Gone with tail fins and lavish round tail lights and crazy design cues, which I happen to love, but by 1965 it was sort of falling out of favor. So this car's been gone through, everything's been done. This is a completely turnkey drivable car. Really needs nothing to speak of. It's exactly what we like to sell here at Orphan Car Garage. And the other thing we like to do here at Orphan Car Garage is keep everything affordable. This 1966 Chrysler 300 convertible is $18,900. Check out my website. There's a full gallery of photos of this car, including the undercarriage, which, by the way, is very clean. No issues there whatsoever. OrphanCarGarage.com. Like us on Facebook, and of course subscribe, and like me here on YouTube. We always have really cool, affordable stuff like this in the pipeline. This week I've got a lot of things coming up, so you want to stick around and make sure you subscribe to my page. Give me a call, 508-954-8090. My name is John. I doubt this 66 New Yorker is going to stick around long, or New Yorker 300 I should say, is going to stick around long. So give me a call, check out that website, and again, subscribe and like to me here on YouTube. The support is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Until the next one.